page 358, page 359, page 360, page 361, page 362, page 363, page 364, page 365, page 367, page 366, 67, page 368, page 369, page 360, page 370, page 371, page 372, page 373, page 374. Distinguished Senator Esther.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Ezia Okechukwu. I represent the people of Enugu North Central District. I stand to move a motion that the votes and proceedings for the day Tuesday, 15th October 2024 be adopted by this House.
Distinguished Senator Jigawa.
I second the motion for the votes and proceedings to be adopted of Tuesday, 15 October 2024. My name is Senator Jide Ipinshaga, representing Ondo North Senatorial District.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, the 15th of October 2024 be approved. Those in support of the motion say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Point of order.
Distinguished colleagues, yesterday, 15th day of October 2024, was the birthday of distinguished Senator Aliu Wadada Ahmed. On behalf of the Senate, I want to wish distinguished Senator Aliu Wadada Ahmed happy birthday, long life, prosperity, and many more years of service to our fatherland. Congratulations as we celebrate. Distinguished colleagues, I wish to acknowledge the presence of staff and students of Government Science Secondary School, Tunga Maje in Abuja. Tunga Maje, I'm right? In Abuja. They are in the gallery to observe Senate proceedings. I want to wish you very fruitful observations of the Senate, and on your departure, safe journeys back to your school. You may be seated. Distinguished colleagues, we also have the National Union of Yobe State Students. That is the university's chapter, Yobe State University. They are also in the gallery to observe our proceedings. I wish you fruitful observations and journey mercies back to your university. You may be seated. Distinguished colleagues, present also in the gallery, we have the President's Schools Debate for Students in Nigeria, Asokoro Abuja branch. They are all in uniform, very resplendent. They are welcome. They are in the gallery to observe Senate proceedings. I wish you fruitful observations and journey mercies back to your destinations. You may be seated. Distinguished colleagues, this is a letter of appreciation. My family and I take this moment to express our heartfelt gratitude for joining us on the joyous occasion of our son's Ishmael, his wedding to Folake Bankole. Your presence meant the world to us and made the day very special and unforgettable. Your love and support are a clear testament to the incredible unity surrounding this hallowed chamber. We are thrilled that you could share in a moment of joy. Thank you for your thoughtful gifts and wishes. Your generosity, your kind words are also very cherished. Please accept the assurances of my warmest regards. Signed, Distinguished Senator Ashiru Isa Oyorola. Congratulations once again to Ishmael and Folake on their wedding. Any petition?
Petition.
Yes, Distinguished Senator Ekon Sampson.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I am Ekong Samson. I represent Akwa Ibom South. I have a petition from my constituents in Atta village. They are lamenting the ravages of illegal mining in their community. With the kind permission of Mr. President, I will appeal, I will beg to lay this petition before the Senate. Thank you.
You may proceed to lay the petition.
Out of order, Mr. President.
The petition is referred to the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions in collaboration with the Committee
Out of order,
on
Mr. President.
Senate Committee on Solid Minerals to revert to the Senate in 2 weeks.
President.
Yes, distinguished Senator, let's take it one by one. Distinguished Senator, okay, on a point of order.
I've told you, I've talked to him before. I've already.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, my name is Mohammed Sani Musa, Niger East Senatorial District. I'm coming under matters of urgent public importance. The matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day's sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. And then dispensing with notice. clause 51, right? Section 51. Notice shall not be dispensed with in the case of a motion or in respect of any other proceedings for which notice is required except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general assent of the senators present. Your Excellency, my distinguished colleagues, I'm coming to present this urgent matter for the imminent collapse of the Zungeru Bridge situated along the busy Minazungeru-Tegina Road, the need for urgent repairs to prevent further disruption and movement of people. As at this moment, over 1,000 vehicles have been stranded. There is no movement between Niger State to other states in the northwestern part of Nigeria. I so move to read my motion, sir,
Yeah,
with your permission.
Okay. This one says about let's get through with this one. Distinguished colleagues, uh, you had actually mentioned to me we have more than one point of order today. So is it imminent collapse or collapse of the bridge? Huh? You said imminent, so which means it has not collapsed yet. So, uh, so, it, so it's something we can take tomorrow because your motion says imminent collapse. So, so it, okay, distinguished colleagues, this bridge, the Zongero Bridge, is about to collapse. You want us to take it now or tomorrow? The clerk, the clerk. Well, let's adjudge the most urgent because because of that word imminent collapse. Let's adjudge the most word. So the well, since the bridge is about to collapse, it has collapsed. Distinguished colleagues, is it the view of the Senate that this motion be allowed to be taken on the next legislative date? Those who support that we take it on the next legislative day say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So we take it on the next day.
Point of
Yes,
order.
Distinguished Senator Babangida.
Thank you, sir.
I
Thank,
know.
thank you, thank you, Mr. President.
He used the word.
I'm Senator Babangida Hussaini, representing Jigawa Northwest. I'm coming under Order 41 on matters of urgent national importance. With your kind permission, sir, may I go ahead to read the section of the order?
Yes. Go ahead and then give us some synopsis.
Thank you, sir. Order 41. The matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day's sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. Am I protected by the chair, sir?
Distinguished colleagues, Senator Babangida approached me on this urgent tragedy. Okay, I should. I'll recognize you, but let's listen to him briefly. Is it the view of the Senate that he be allowed to proceed? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So, distinguished Senator Babangida, before you proceed, just take it a minute.
Yes,
You
sir.
can sit down for a while. The Senate has already granted you permission. Let's listen to our brother Sadiq. Yeah, go ahead. Senator Buhari. Abdul Fattah Buhari.
Thank you, Mr. President. Buhari Abdul Fattah. Mr. President, I come under Order 4151. 41. The matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definitely urgent. 51. Notice shall not be dispensed with the case of a motion or respect of any other proceeding or for which notice is required except with the consent of the President of the Senate and general assent of the senator present. Mr. President, I come under this order to raise the suffering of Nigeria at various airports in the country, the incessant delay and cancelled flight by the airline operators in Nigeria. All over the country today, all our airports are in chaos. That's the reason why I approach you, Mr. President, to raise this motion for discussion.
Distinguished colleagues, Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari had actually approached me on this situation that people are experiencing. A lot of pains at the airport, incessant cancellations of flights across the country, and I felt he should bring it up. So now that he has raised it, is it the view of the Senate that he be allowed to proceed with it on the next legislative date? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So you will definitely bring it up by tomorrow. Senator Bangida, you may now proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, sitting as chair. I remain Senator Babangida Hussaini, Jigawa Northwest. It is with a heavy heart, Mr. President, that I wish to announce the unfortunate incidents of tanker fire that happened in Majia town in Toro local government of Jigawa Northwest. The Senate is to note that on the night of 15th October, yesterday, a tanker fully loaded with petroleum motor spirit, PMS, called Petrol, exploded along Hadeji Expressway in Majia town, located in Toro local government of Jigawa State, which is about 117 kilometers northeast of Dusi, the state capital. Also notes that this catastrophic inferno occurred around 10 p.m. when the residents of the area trooped out en masse to the accident scene to scoop fuel from the ill-fated tanker. And while this was on, the tanker exploded, resulting in massive fire, which was quite difficult to control by the available facilities in the area. Further notes that the explosion resulted in the death of about 100 people, whose bodies were burnt beyond recognition, leaving about 300 people with varying degrees of burns and are currently receiving treatments in Birnun Kudu Federal Medical Center, General Hospital Rengim, General Hospital Hadija, and Jahun General Hospital. Observe that this is one incident too many, and it is often accompanied with unprecedented casualties, often difficult for medical facilities within the precincts of the disaster. This development is rather unfortunate, as it keeps happening over and over again, in spite of fatalities that is often associated with the inferno. Also, observe that public enlightenment and sensitization on the dangers of indulging in the dangerous act of scooping fuel from tankers whenever there is a tanker accident should be encouraged as part of measures to forestall the occurrence of these unfortunate incidents. Accordingly, resolved to 1. Call on the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management and the National Emergency Management Agency to provide immediate relief materials to the victims of the inferno. Also calls on the National Orientation Agency and other relevant authorities to carry out adequate sensitization on the dangers of involvement in such hazardous practices. Also calls on all security agencies to be proactive in their actions whenever there is such occurrence across the country. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, distinguished colleagues.
Yes, distinguished Senator Abamoro.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Abba Moro. I represent the very good people of the Benue South Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to second this motion and, by your indulgence, to make a few comments on the issue at hand. Mr. President, this is a very tragic occurrence, and there is absolute need for us to encourage the industry to take proactive measures, especially in the area of awareness and sensitization, to prevent future occurrence. Mr. President, one life matters. And when it occurs like this, and the speculation is that over 90 persons have died, certainly it calls for some concern. I therefore urge my colleagues to support this motion and to say that, Mr. President, I think the major problem in this area is the area of lack of awareness and, of course, resulting from lack of sensitization. Our people mostly are in rural areas and they are not aware of the danger of approaching tankers that are falling and the danger of scooping fuel from these tankers. And that is why, in partial ignorance, they engage in this activity that leads to loss of lives. Finally, Mr. President, I want to say that the Senate should take this matter of providing succor for those who have been affected with all seriousness. Mr. President, it's unfortunate that sometimes delivery of relief materials from NEMA has taken longer than necessary. And sometimes even the succor that it is supposed to provide will be outdated and sometimes unneeded by the people. I therefore ask that we approve the prayers that have been moved by our colleagues here and that succor must immediately be dispatched to the affected people and community. I so second, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, just before we proceed further on the debate, the National Association of Nigerian Students Joint Campus Council, Kano State, are also in the gallery to observe the sittings. You are welcome and safe journey back home. The motion probably was not very, Senator Bangida, there was a lot of slight commotion while you were moving the motion. So let me just read the first two paragraphs so that my colleagues can understand what is going on. That in the night of 15th October 2024, which was yesterday, a tanker fully loaded with PMS, popularly called petrol, exploded along the Hadija Expressway in Maja town, located in Taura local government area of Jigawa State, about 117 kilometers northeast of Duse. The catastrophic inferno occurred about 10 p.m. when the residents of the area trooped out en masse to the accident scene to scoop fuel from the ill-fated tanker. So while they were scooping fuel, from the ill-fated tanker that collapsed. The tanker exploded. So this means that the residents were scooping the fuel at the time this happened. This has happened in Lagos, that's happened in Ikeja, that's happened in my community in Akwa Ibom before, and a lot of the bonds were first class bonds. So here, over 100 people have been burned to death. Our prayer would just be that uh, those who have died, we should observe a minute silence for them, and we should go ahead to call on them and others to provide relief materials for those who are still in hospitals, and particularly the state government to assist in medical expenses to save more lives. I don't think we need too much debate, but the prayers will have to be more loaded. If you permit, we go straight into the prayers. Is it the view of the Senate that we proceed to the prayers? Prayer 1, call on the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to provide relief materials, yes, to the victims of the inferno, that is the survivors. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, call on the National Orientation Agency and other relevant authorities to carry out adequate sensitization on the dangers of involved in these hazardous practices. Those in support of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Call on all security agencies to be proactive in their actions whenever there is such occurrence across the country. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. Well, the ayes have it. Actually, is there any additional prayer? Yes, Senator Abamoro. Then after Senator Ndubwese.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I remain Abamoro, Senator representing the good people of Benue South Senatorial District. Mr. President, my additional prayer is that the Senate do observe 1 minute silence in honor of those who lost their lives in the inferno.
Yeah.
I so move.
Yeah. Distinguished Senator Aleru.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Mohammed Adamu is my name. I second the motion ably moved by Minority Leader Senator Abamoro that the Senate should observe 1 minute silence in honor of the departed. So, thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion an additional prayer has been moved and seconded that we do observe a minute silence in honor of those who fell victims of this inferno in Jigawa. Those in support of the additional prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So let me thank distinguished Senator Babangida for bringing this to the fore and pray that God will grant solace to the families of those who lost their loved ones, and then, of course, agenda fidel to those who have departed. And I want to also pray that those in hospitals will also survive. However, I think we should also call on the state government to take proactive steps to save more lives. But may we rise for 1 minute silence. May the souls of our brothers and sisters who died in the tanker explosion in Major Tower local government of Jigawa State rest in proper peace. Sergeant at arms, please take steps to move out that phone. Move the phone out of the chambers. Have you taken control of the phone? The phone has refused to stop ringing, and even the owner doesn't know how to stop it. So please seize the phone. Plead with the phone not to ring again. Yes, point of order, Senator Alero.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Mohammed Adamu Alero is my name. I represent the good people of Kebbi Central. Mr. President, I come under Order 42 and 51. With your permission, Mr. President, I read, by the indulgence of the Senate and the leave of the President of the Senate, a senator may make personal explanation, although there is no question before the Senate, but no controversial matter may be brought forward for any debate arise upon the explanation. Now, and also Order 51, notice shall not be dispensed with in the case of motion or in respect of any other proceeding for which notice is required, except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general assent of the senators present. Mr. President, I have earlier discussed this issue with you. It is non-settlement of foreign exchange or to banks overseas, amounting to over 2 billion US dollars. And this has resulted into serious factory closure, unemployment, and it has caused a lot of distortions in the economy. And Mr. President, it is the view of many people that since foreign exchange contract are contracts that are entered between the CBN and foreign banks, it will amount to lack of confidence in these funds are not settled. This has resulted to companies going outside the official market to look for foreign exchange, resulting into the escalation of the cost of funds and also, Mr. President,
The distinguished senator,
yes,
personal explanation, yes, but order 51. You know, you said order 42 and 51. So this is the problem. So may I suggest that
so Order 42, sorry, 41, matter of urgent public importance.
because it's
No, sorry, it's 41 and 51.
for 250. That's why I
The
said
matter for discussion shall
let's
if possibly be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the
Yes.
day's sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. And Order 51, notice shall not be dispensed with in the case of a motion or in respect of any other proceeding for which notice is required, except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general assent of the senators present.
distinguished colleagues, the matter was distinguished Senator Alero mentioned it to me, and it's from what he's saying, I think it's a failure of CBN to settle forex to
Foreign banks.
international
Yeah,
organizations.
international obligations.
So who have done businesses in Nigeria or something, and it ought to have been 7.4 billion, but the CBN has settled 5 billion.
5 billion, correct.
And some is still remaining. So really, I think at this stage, that instead of moving the motion, we should rather refer the matter to the committee on banking and insurance, so that they will find out whether the balance had already been settled before you came here.
It has not been, it has not been settled, Mr.
No, but you
President.
don't work in CBN.
No, it has not been settled. We are,
You don't understand.
the Committee on Banking has engaged the CBN
If you
severally.
notice,
Huh?
from
Mr.
7.4
President, the
billion,
Committee on Banking has engaged the CBN severally. You can
but
even confirm from the chairman of the committee and other
chairman of
members.
banking. Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, what? Just 1 minute, Senator Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my dear colleagues. Henry Siriake Dixon, Bayelsa West. I am not opposed to the issue
Yes.
distinguished Senator Alero has raised, and I do not think, Mr. President, that anyone here is opposed to the principles of what is raising. My concern, however, is the procedure, because by our rules, personal explanation upon which he has come cannot accommodate issues unless we go for a substantive motion.
Exactly.
And if it's a substantive motion and the Senate agrees to take it and waive notice, then we can. Otherwise, any other day, but so that people can contribute and we can then ultimately refer it to the. Thank you, sir.
Yes, the point of order is sustained. Distinguished Senator, you can come by way of substantive motion. Because personal explanation would not survive.
No,
This one
Mr.
would not
President,
allow.
I already come with a motion. That's why I said order 41 and 51. Matter of urgent public importance. 41 is.
We have, by our rules, that order 41, 51, we take one in a day. And we have already taken one from Senator Babangida. That's why we are still trying to appear that we adhere to the rules. Senator Babangida had actually. Did you see Senator Babangida? Okay. He had already taken the one for the day.
Okay. So we can take it tomorrow if we have already taken one.
No problem.
No,
Is it the view of the Senate that he be allowed to come through substantive motion? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The leader of the Senate. How are you, brother?
Mr. President, the first business of the day is presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Izunaso Osita on Creative Industry Development Trust Fund, Bill 2024 SB 579. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Creative Industry Development Trust Fund Bill 2024, SB 579, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Creative Industry Development Trust Fund Bill 2024, SB 579, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the second business of the day is presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Abiru Mukail Adetokunbo on the right of publicity, protection, and commercialization, Bill 2024 SB 601. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Right of Publicity, Protection and Commercialization Bill 2024, SB 601, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Right of Publicity, Protection and Commercialization Bill 2024, SB 601, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the third business of the day is presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Akobudon Austin of Federal University of Sports, Unsulu, Abia State, Bill 2024 SB 608. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal University of Sports, Unsulu, Abia State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 608, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal University of Sports, Zulu, Abia State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 608, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the first business of the day is presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Imasuen Nelda on the Federal College of Education, Special, Abudu, Edo State, Establishment Bill 2024, SB 609. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal College of Education, Special, Abudu, Edo State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 609, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal College of Education Special, Abudu, Edo State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 609, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the fifth business of the day is presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Hussaini Babangida Uba on the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, Establishment Bill 2024, SB 611. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigeria Building and Road Research Institute Establishment Bill 2024, SB 611, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Nigeria Building and Road Research Institute Establishment Bill 2024, SB 611, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the sixth business of the day is presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Ndubuze Patrick on the Local Automotive Industry Patronage Bill 2024, SB 613. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Local Automotive Industry Patronage Bill 2024, SB 613, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Local Automotive Industry Patronage Bill 2024, SB 613, first reading taken. Clerk of the Senate. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the first order of the day is presentation and consideration of reports of committees on national planning and economic affairs and finance on the confirmation of the nomination of the following persons as listed on the order paper for appointment as federal commissioners in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Abdullahi Yahya Abubakar, Chairman of Committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Yahya Abubakar.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I rise to move that this distinguished Senate do receive and consider the report of the Joint Committee on National Planning and Economic Affairs and the Committee on Finance on the confirmation of the nominations of Mr. President for appointment as federal commissioners in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission. Before that, Mr. President, I would like the distinguished Senate to note and the Secretariat to take note of the number of nominees that we cleared. Actually, the nominees are 21, not 18. So there was an inadvertent presentation in the order paper, which I think needs to be corrected. Mr. President, I so move for a permission to lay the report and present the report for the consideration of this distinguished Senate. I so move, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Akobondu.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain Austin Akobundu, representing Abia Central Senatorial District. I rise to support the motion ably moved by my chairman, Senator Yahya. I so support.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that distinguished Senator Yahya be allowed to lay his report. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may proceed to lay the report. Distinguished Senator Yahya, you may wish to give us the synopsis.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Senate at its plenary on Tuesday, 24th September 2024, considered the request of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the confirmation of the nominees for appointment as federal commissioners in Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission, and referred same to the Committee on National Planning and Economic Affairs, and Finance was joined as a core committee to screen and make recommendation for the appointment. The candidates' names are there.
in the report, which I think have been circulated to all members. Paragraph 2, the methodology that was adopted by the Joint Committee is presented in paragraph 3. The nominees were screened. Our findings on paragraph 5, page 3. We also indicated in the findings that there are about 8 out of the 21 who are reappointments. Our recommendation, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, is that the Senate do confirm the nomination of 21 nominees as federal commissioners in Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission, which has now brought the membership of the commission to its full complement. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I would like at this point to extend our gratitude to Mr. President for considering the situation in the Revenue Allocation, Revenue Mobilization Allocation Commission, and bringing its membership to its full complement, which means that every state, if you approve this nomination, every state will now have a candidate, will now have a representation in the board of the institution. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, on behalf of the Committee of National Planning and Economic Affairs and the Committee of Finance, I wish to most sincerely thank you very much for the opportunity given to the two committees to serve the Senate. Thank you and highest regards to all. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes. Distinguished Senator, the Chief Whip, in the absence of further contributions, I invite the leader to move that we resolve in the Committee of the Whole.
Mr. Senate President, I stand to move a motion that the Senate resolve into Committee of Whole to consider the report. I so move.
Distinguished Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the Senate resolves into the Committee of the Whole to consider the report. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this August Assembly do resolve in the Committee of the Whole to consider this report. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We resolve in the Committee of the Whole.
Distinguished colleagues, the report of the Senate Committee on National Planning and Economic Affairs and Finance on the confirmation of nominees for appointment as federal commissioners in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission has come in, and the two committees have recommended that all the nominees are fit for appointment. So I'll put the question.
Will the Senate approve the nominations of Mrs. Linda Nkechioti, representing Abia State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Nkechi Linda Oti Mrs. is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Akwan Imo-Effiong, representing Akwa Ibom State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Akpan Imo-Effiong as Federal Commissioner in Ramfak is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Mr. Enefe Ekene, representing Anambra State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Enefe Ekene, representing Anambra State, is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the appointment of Professor Steve Ubwa, representing Benue State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Professor Steve Ubwa as Revenue Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Chief Ayonsa Willie, representing Cross River State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Chief Ayonsa Willie, representing Cross River State, for appointment as a Federal Commissioner is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the appointment of Aruviera Egarive, representing Delta State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Aruviera Egarive, representing Delta State, as a Federal Commissioner is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Nduka Henry Awuregu, representing Ebonyi State, for appointment as a Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Nduka Henry Awuregu, representing Ebonyi State, as a Federal Commissioner in Ramfak is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Victor Eboigbe, representing Edo State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Victor Eboigbe, representing Edo State, as a Federal Commissioner in Ramfak is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Wumi Ogunola, representing Ekiti State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Honorable Wumi Ogunlola representing Ekiti State as a federal commissioner in Ramfak is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Ozo Obumere Obodogu, representing Enugu State, for appointment as federal commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Honorable Ozo Obumreme Obodogu, representing Enugu State, as the federal commissioner in Ramfak is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the appointment of Mr. Mohammed Kabir Usman, representing Gombe State, for appointment as federal commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Mohammed Usman, representing Gombe State, is hereby approved. Alhaji Kabir Mohammed Mashi, representing Katsina. Will the Senate approve the appointment of Alhaji Kabir Mohammed Mashi, representing Katsina State, for appointment as federal commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Alhaji Kabir Mohammed Mashi, representing Katsina State, as a federal commissioner in Ramfak is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Adamu Fanda, representing Kano State, for appointment as federal commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Adamu Fanda, representing Kano State, as a federal commissioner in Ramfak is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Professor Olusegun Adekunle Wright, representing Lagos State, for appointment as federal commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Professor Olusegun Adekunle Wright, representing Lagos State, as a federal commissioner in Ramfak is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the appointment of Aliu Al-Makura Abdul Kadir, representing Nasarawa State, for appointment as federal commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Aliu Al-Makura Abdul Kadiri, representing Nasarawa State, as a federal commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Bako Shetima, representing Niger State, for appointment as federal commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Bako Shetima as a federal commissioner representing Niger State in Ramfak is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Amosun Akim Akintayo, representing Ogun State, for appointment as federal commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Amosun Akim Akintayo, representing Ogun State, as a federal commissioner in Ramfak is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Dr. Nathaniel Adoju Telegong, representing Ondo State, for appointment as federal commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Dr. Nathaniel Ado Jutelegon, representing Ondo State as a federal commissioner in Ramfak, is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Said Bello Ibrahim, representing Plateau State, for appointment as a federal commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Honorable Said Bello Ibrahim, representing Plateau State, as a federal commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Mr. Modu Aji Juluri, Mr. Modu Aji Juluri, representing Yobe State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Mr. Modu Aji Juluri, representing Yobe State, as a Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of His Excellency Bello Rabio Garba, FCNA, as representing Zamfara State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Bello Rabio Garba, FCNA, representing Zamfara State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner is hereby approved. Leader of the Senate.
My Senate President, I stand to move a motion for the Senate to revert to plenary to report progress. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chair to report progress. I so second.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We revert to plenary for the chair to report progress. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Joint Committees on National Planning and Economic Affairs, Finance, on the confirmation of the nominations for appointment as Federal Commissioners in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RAMFA, and approved the nominations of Mrs. Linda Nkechioti, Abia State, Mr. Akwan Imo Effiong, Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Enefe Ekene, Anambra State, Professor Stephen Oba, Benue State, Chief Ayo Nsa Willie, Cross River State, Aruviere Egarewe, Delta State, Nduka Henry Awuregu, Ebonyi State, Mr. Victor Eboigbe, Edo State, Honorable Wumi Ogunlora, Ekiti State, Honorable Ozo Obumere, Enugu State, Mr. Mohammed Kabir Osman, Gombe State, Alhaji Kabiru Mohammed Mashi, Katsina State, Honorable Adamu Fanda, Kano State, and Professor Olusegun Adegunde Wright, Lagos State. Aliu Armakura Abdul Kadiri, Nasarawa State. Bako Shetima, Niger State. Mr. Amosun Akim Akintayo, Ogun State. Dr. Nathaniel Ado Utelegon, Ondo State. Honorable Said Bello Ibrahim, Plateau State. Mr. Modo Aji Juluri, Yobe State. And His Excellency Bello Rabio Garba, FCNA, Zamfara State, as Federal Commissioners in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Linda Nkechioti, representing Abia State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mrs. Linda Nkechi Oti, representing Abia State, is hereby confirmed as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mr. Akpan Imo Effiong, representing Akwa Ibom State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mr. Akpan Imo Effiong, representing Akwa Ibom State, is hereby confirmed as a Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the appointment of Enefe Ekene, representing Anambra State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment of Mr. Enefe Ekene, representing Anambra State, is hereby confirmed as a Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Professor Steve Ogba, representing Benue State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Steve Ogba, representing Benue State, is hereby confirmed as the Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization and Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Chief Ayo Nsa Willie, representing Cross River State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Chief Ayon Sawini, representing Cross River State, is hereby confirmed as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Aroviere Egaiwe, representing Delta State, for appointment as the Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Aruviere Egarewe, representing Delta State, is hereby confirmed as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mr. Victor Eboigbe, representing Edo State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mr. Victor Eboigbe, representing Edo State, is hereby confirmed as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Wumi Ogunlora, representing Edo State, Ekiti State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Wumi Ogunlora, representing Ekiti State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission is hereby confirmed. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Ozo Obumreme Obodo, representing Enugu State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Ozo Obumreme Obodo, representing Enugu State, as the Federal Commissioner is hereby confirmed. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mr. Mohammed Usman, representing Gombe State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mr. Mohammed Kabir Usman, representing Gombe State, is hereby confirmed as a Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Kabiru Mohammed Mashi, representing Katsina State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Alhaji Kabiru Mohammed Mashi, representing Katsina State, is hereby confirmed as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Adamu Fanda, representing Kano State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Adamu Fanda, representing Kano State, is hereby confirmed as a Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RAMFA. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Professor Olusegun Odekunle Wright, representing Lagos State, for appointment as the Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Olusegun Odekunle Wright, representing Lagos State, is hereby confirmed as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Aliu Makura Abdul Kadiri, representing Nasarawa State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Aliu Makura Abdul Kadiri, representing Nasarawa State, is hereby confirmed as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Barko Shetima, representing Niger State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Barko Shetima, representing Niger State, is hereby confirmed as a Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mr. Amosu Akintayo, representing Ogun State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mr. Amosu Akintayo, representing Ogun State, is hereby confirmed as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RAMFA. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Nathaniel Ado Jutelegon, representing Ondo State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Nathaniel Ado Jutelegon, representing Ondo State, is hereby confirmed as a Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Said Bello Ibrahim, representing Plateau State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Said Bello Ibrahim, representing Plateau State, is hereby confirmed as a Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve? The distinguished colleagues, the Senate has already approved. Will the Senate now confirm the appointment or nomination of Mudu Aji Juluri, representing Yobe State, as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mr. Modu Aji Juluri, representing Yobe State, is hereby confirmed as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of His Excellency Bello Rabio Garba, FCNA, representing Zamfara State, for appointment as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission? Those in favor say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of His Excellency Bello Rabio Garba, FCNA, representing Zamfara State, is hereby confirmed as Federal Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Let me thank the two committees of National Planning as well as Finance for the excellent job of screening these nominees, going through their resumes, asking questions, and then, of course, taking them through the rigors of confirmation screening. I also want to thank the participants, the SSS, and all the police and other agencies who wrote in their reports, giving clean bill of health to these nominees. And finally, I congratulate all the nominees and pray that they will continue to give their best, and particularly in the onerous task of revenue allocation and management in Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. May you be good ambassadors of your various states and serve with integrity. God will be with you. I thank you all. Distinguished colleagues, it has just been brought to my attention, well, by one of us, that there is a fake news spreading on the social media that the DSS has surrounded the National Assembly to stop possible impeachment of principal officers. so, there is no limit to social media, and we are here sitting down and doing our work very peacefully, oblivious of the mischief that is going on behind us. So let us, which committee do we refer these fake news to? eh? Senator Yadwa, do we refer it to the Committee on the Army? Interior is large enough to investigate anything, but this I think we should refer it to the Committee on Police Affairs. Police Affairs, right? Yes. Senator Kaka, the fake news is hereby referred to the Committee on Special Duties.
As the Senate President pleases,
Yes,
I will
to
do the
report
needful
back to
and
the
revert
Senate
back.
in 24 hours.
Yes, sir, I will revert back, sir.
Well, it's part of what we pass through on a daily basis. It's either they use AI to inject something to turn it around in order to drive traffic. I understand that they are being paid by YouTube if they have a lot of traffic. So whoever brought out this fake news must be getting a lot of payment because of the traffic going on. But I hope the public is aware that this is total fake news, and that the chamber is very stable and the issue of impeachment does not come in. So, Kaka, Please investigate and report back to us as soon as practicable.
As the Senate President pleases, I will
All
do
right.
the needful and report back, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Leader of the Senate.
Your Excellency, the Senate President, the second order of the day is the second reading of Federal University of Medicine and Medical Sciences, Egbe, Kogi State, Establishment Bill 2024, SB 299. Distinguished Senator will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Tuesday, 12 December 2023. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Karimi Sunday Steve to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Distinguished Senator Karimi Sunday.
Thank you, Mr. President, my colleagues,
My name is Karimi Sunday Steve. I represent the people of Kogi West. I hereby move that a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal University of Medicine and Medical Science at Kogi State and to make comprehensive provision for due management and administration for other related matters 2024 be read for the second time. Mr. President, my colleagues, before taking you through the rigor of reading my notes, let me give you an important information, sir, that this bill was moved for the first, second, third time, went through the rigor of public hearing and passed in the last assembly. But because of our process, I still have to do this. So I graciously ask you that you consider passing this bill for speedy. Yeah, thank you, sir. Mr. President, my colleague, permit me to lead the debate of this very important bill for the establishment of Federal University of Medicine and Medical Science at Kogi State. The bill was read for the first time in this Allo chamber on Tuesday, 12 December 2023. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this bill seeks to establish the Federal University of Medicine and Medical Sciences at Kogi State and make comprehensive provision for due management and administration. The establishment of this institution is informed by the imperative to create more access to higher ed and medical studies in view of the large number of qualified candidates who are annually stranded in their failed attempt in gaining admission into higher institutions in the state. The objects of the university shall be to encourage the advancement of learning and to hold all persons without distinctions of race, creed, sex, or political conviction the opportunity of acquiring a higher education in medicine and other sciences. Develop and offer academic and professional program leading to the award of diploma, first degree, postgraduate research, and higher degrees with emphasis on planning, adaptive, technical maintenance, developmental, and productive skills in the field of medicine. Act as agent and catalyst through postgraduate training, research, innovation for effective and economic utilization, exploitation, and conservation of Nigerian natural, economic, and human resources. Offer to the general public as a form of public service results of training and research in medicine and allied discipline and to foster the practical application of those results. Mr. President, my colleagues, the health sector has a very high potential and require high-level medical, scientific, and administrative skills to drive it. The establishment of this university will go a long way into achieving this target. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this bill is well organized for its own purpose of modern academic and research institution. The objective of the university, as articulated above, are supportive of its mission and broad vision of modern institution that will develop world-class medical personnel that can sustainably manage our nation's health sector by providing medical expertise at high level. The university is therefore to further advance knowledge through research and nurture unique innovation and health management at its core area of interest. The President, distinguished colleague, the enactment of this bill will help in transforming the health and educational fortunes in Nigeria in producing desired medical manpower and expertise that Nigeria is yearning for. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, let me share the fact that the location of the university in Egbe, an ancient and historic town, is instructive. What this means is that the place has a clear crying need for federal government presence, and the university will be one way to restoring or strengthening the citizen sense of belonging to this nation and senatorial district is the only stone without an institution of higher education. Mr. President, my colleagues, it may interest you to know that the Kogi State government is ready to part with over 1,000 acres of land with structure ready at a hospital established by the missionaries in 1951. Mr. President, my colleague, in line with Order 763 of our standing rules, the financial compendium is hereby attached. I urge you to support this bill for second reading. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Anthony Ani.
Mr. President, dear colleagues, my name is Senator Professor Anthony Ani. I represent Ebonyi South. I stand to support this bill that is well crafted and well presented. The objectives for establishing this university are well laid out. In as much as it's good to have universities in various parts of this country because of the population that requires so many educational institutions. I only have two concerns. However, the two concerns do not in any way negate the importance of this bill. One of the concerns is that one of the concerns I'm raising is that most of these specialized universities at the moment do not have specialists. We are talking of University of Medicine and Medical Sciences. The required specialists in some of these fields are not yet there. You can agree with me that it takes a while for institutions, for universities to produce required academic strength to take up some of these specialized universities. For instance, it takes an average of 20 years of continuous progression to make a profession. And most of these specialized disciplines, like medicine, require that for it to go the way it should go, having the standards required, the handlers of such courses should be specialized. That is one of the concerns. The other concern is the infrastructure. If you take statistics of some of these our institutions, universities inclusive, you find out that most of the infrastructural requirements are not there. So that when we are making such bill, this type of bill, such should concern us. Having said that, it is necessary we have specialized universities in various fields in different locations of this country. If we do that, it will go a long way in our socio-economic development. Mr. President, dear colleagues, I shall submit.
Senator Ale.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Mohammed Adam Aledo, my name. Mr. President, I rise to support the second reading of this bill because there is death of manpower in the medical sector. And the only way we can overcome it is by continuous training of medical personnel. Even though some of the medical personnel trained here in Nigeria find their way to Middle East, Europe, and America, it should not discourage us. We should continue to train them and train them. And again, by the time we have enough going out, they will be forced to remain in the country and take care of healthcare delivery. This is a university like no other, in the sense that it is a professional university. It requires doctors, it requires experts in medicine and medical sciences. And I agree with what my colleagues mentioned earlier, but that should not discourage us in going forward to approve this bill for second reading. When we go to public hearing, the details of how it will be set up will be discussed. That's why we have the university, what do you call it, NUC, Nigerian University Commission. It is their responsibility to ensure that every course the university is offering is properly accredited, to have enough lecturers, facilities are provided so that courses that are run by the university are properly recognized all over the world. Mr. President, Nigeria has doctor to, what do you call it, to personnel ratio of maybe one doctor to about 200,000 people. And ideally, based on United Nations standard, it shouldn't be more than 200 persons to one doctor. Here we have over 200,000 people to one doctor. And the only way we can reverse this trend is by continuous training of doctors. And for this reason, I support the second reading of this bill, and I urge my colleague to do the same. Thank you.
This is Senator Isa Jibril.
Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, very distinguished colleagues. I am Isa Jibrin, representing the very good people of Kogi East. Your Excellency, I rise to support the second reading of this very important bill. As was mentioned during the presentation, this bill is not new. It was presented during the 9th Senate and unfortunately could not see the light of the day. We still believe that this bill is very relevant. First, Your Excellency, the structures for the proposed university is already on ground. Okay, so what we only need is to equip the university and to take off. The structure is very much on ground. Okay. Secondly, Your Excellency, I want to state that Nigerians still go outside Nigeria, outside the country for medical attention means that there's still a gap as far as medical provision of medical facilities in Nigeria is concerned. It means there's still a gap. So we need some of these specialized institutions that will concentrate in key areas that drive some of our people to go out there to look for medical attention. Then thirdly, Your Excellency, we've mentioned several times that there is a brain drain from Nigeria, especially with respect to medical personnel. Okay, this brain drain means that Nigeria is being depleted by the day. So we need to replace them as they are going out looking for better sources of livelihood out there. We also need to replace them here. So, Mr. President, I believe that this bill should go through the second reading. Thank you very much.
Senator Oshobaba.
Mr. President, sir, my distinguished colleagues, I rise to support my in-law who tabled this very important bill. I think that under your leadership, this House must be seen to be consistent, to be fair and just. That is reflected, Mr. President, in the prayers that you rehearse every morning. Justice to one another. I think that given all that I know now, which all of us in this Senate, if we reflect on the bills we have passed similar to this, there is no reason to deny the people of that part of Nigeria the location of this specialized institution. My very dear friend is worried about where the teachers, the experts will come from. The law of economics is that where there is a demand, there will be a supply. Where there is no demand, there will be no supply. I think that even if we were to assume without conceding that we have too many institutions already, when it comes to healthcare and the management of human being health-wise, it will be better to err on the side of surplusage. Sir, for people of my generation, there was a time where Indians come to Nigeria to look for employment as doctors. And most Nigerians of my generation would prefer to be attended to by Nigerian doctors rather than Indian doctors. It is over time, and we're not getting our priorities right, that we now have a revised situation where the Indians have gone back, Nigerians are now going to India to seek for medical intervention. I think the purpose of this Senate, and under your able visionary leadership, is to look at the future and not to be detained by the imperfections of the present or even the recent past. I believe that knowing the reality, I come from Edo State, and I'm sure many people from Delta State. When people get involved in accidents along this road, they are not necessarily people from Kogi State. I think in terms of location and access, that institution is extremely necessary. I want to plead with my colleagues that let us be found to be too generous in supporting specialized institutions and appropriate funds for the training of men and women that will be required to run those institutions. I'm sure what there is demand. And of course, holistically, at another occasion, we must ask ourselves the question, why are we lamenting over migration or brain drain? But by some analysis, sir, brain drain is not necessarily very negative. Because these guys repatriate money, and I read the books from the CBN telling us how many billions of dollars Nigerians are remitting home. If we can't produce industries, I will produce men and women who have brains that are marketable worldwide. I believe we should be proud just to do so. So under your leadership, I please, sir, that we support this bill. It is necessary, it will be helpful, it cannot be idle, but we must know that for every institution we have passed, when we are doing appropriation, we must factor in the fact that these institutions have been passed and they will need resources for effective takeoff. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. And actually, is anybody opposed to this bill going for a second term or a second reading rather? There is nobody. Let me observe that the location of this university does not matter, because even if it's far from major towns, it will help the students to concentrate. Once they go there, they'll be able to concentrate instead of jump getting up and down, and it will reduce the rate of failures. So since there is nobody opposed to it, I will urge the clerk. Huh? Huh? Yes. Nobody is opposed to it. So those who are in support, that I call on the clerk to read the bill for the second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Medicine and Medical Sciences at Kogi State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, and for other related matters, 2024. Second reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Medicine and Medical Sciences Egbe in Kogi State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, and for other matters related thereto. 2024. Second reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Medicine and Medical Sciences, Egbe, Kogi State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, and for other related matters, 2024. Second reading taken, and now referred to the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TEDFOR to report back to the Senate within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the third order of the day is the second reading of Federal University of Education, Special, Oyo State, Bill 2024, SB 67. The single senator will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Thursday, 27 July 2023. Mr. President, we wish to invite Senator Akintunde Yunus Abiodun to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Distinguished Senator Akintunde Yunus Abiodun.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Yunus Abiodun Akintunde, representing Oyo Central. I stand to give the lead debate on a bill to establish Federal University of Education Special, Oyo State Bill. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead this debate on the very important bill which seeks to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Education Special, Oyo State. The bill was read the first time in this Hollow Chamber on Thursday, 27th July 2023. The need to provide equal, sound, and robust education system for all Nigerians, including people with disability, is predicated on the availability of qualified and well-trained teachers to impart the required knowledge on the students. Federal College of Education Special Oyo is the only one of its kind in sub-Saharan Africa, and it's about 51 years old, and is set aside for producing special education teachers and other special education personnel for people with disabilities. Thus, the need to have a university in our educational sector that shall cater for people with disabilities and continuously produce well-qualified and trained teachers, as it is obtained in other developed countries, cannot be emphasized. Undoubtedly, the realization that University of Education Special is a tool for making adequate provision for people with disabilities to attain the highest level of education, also to promote inclusive and equal education access and opportunity for national development. Hence, it's an unbridled quest for and vigorous expansion of specialized university of special needs education in Nigeria. The distinguished colleagues, the key objectives of the universities will be to, 1, produce highly professional, competent and committed teachers of special need education, produce personnel with high-level technical and technological know-how that could operate, maintain, and repair specialized equipment and material used in special needs education, produce a body of professionals ingrained with the right attitude, values, and interests compatible with the educational and socio-economic environment of persons with disability, create an environment for research, and to carry out research into the peculiar needs of persons with disabilities. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the importance of intervening at this level can better be seen in the context of the broader vision of government as contained in some specific objectives of the country National Policy on Education 2013. That, I quote, education is compulsory and a right of every Nigerian, irrespective of gender, social status, religion, ethnic background, and any peculiar individual challenges, any form of disabilities. This bill therefore underlines the legislative effort to realizing the importance of these objectives by seeking to address the issue of access to quality teacher education at university level, especially by the people with disabilities. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, as leaders, we are in a privileged position to better understand and appreciate the value of quality education as a critical tool for national socio-economic growth. This administration has shown sufficient determination to commit adequate funds to some critical sectors of the economy, including education. It is therefore our responsibility as the representative of the people to ensure that we head to direct such funds to serve the most serious need of our people, such as education of people with disabilities. The enactment of this bill will help not only in providing educational access, but also reduce difficulties faced by people with disabilities in seeking university education in non-conducive conventional universities. It is my prayer and other call on my distinguished colleagues to consider the plight of the people with disabilities who are desirous to becoming professionals and attain their innate potential using university education as a tool. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I wish to state that there is no financial implication to this bill. All the operational structures are already in place as university is taking off from the 16th Federal College of Education Special, Oyo State, with same budgetary provision. Therefore, I urge you all to support the expeditious passage of this bill. Thank you.
Senator Ome.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ome, OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to support this bill for the fact that it aims at providing functional facilities for education of people with disabilities. These are people who should do everything to take care of their needs in our daily lives. Special education is, by the name, a very complex learning, because the people who will make use of this university are people who may not be able to move around like every other person. But one thing I would like to add is that admission to this citadel of learning will not be limited to only people with disabilities, because it will lead to social stigma. If you bring people who are physically challenged and put them in one place for learning, it will not be very nice. Rather, in this institution, adequate provision for facilities that will cater for people of special needs will be put in this university. People who are physically able can also be admitted into this university to pursue degree programs, so that there will be that social mix, that the people who this university will serve will not be seen to be segregated. If we admit people who can go there and study for degrees, who are physically able, they will be able to mix with these people and socialize with them, so that they will not think that they have been rejected by the society. By mingling together, but with special facilities for those who need these special facilities in the university. We will be building a psychological mix that will not make these students um, uh, exposed as people who are with various challenges. These things happen in other universities. Even when you are building a house, you must make provision for ways people with disabilities can move, you know. So putting them together, like in a colony, for them to learn will not be socially desirable. So I think that the university can focus on adequate provision of facilities for special learning without shutting out people who are physically able to come to the same university to pursue their degree programs. This is my contribution. So I support the bill to go for second reading. And with this observation, I think we need the university. Akintunde, I support the university. Yes, thank you.
Is Senator Abbas?
Thank you, Mr. President.
After that, it's 1 minute. 1 minute. After all, I saw when DSP used to give you 30 seconds. So 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Senator Aminu Abbas from Adamawa Central. Mr. President, I stand to support the bill for Federal University of Education Special in Oyo State. Mr. President, this school has existence for almost 51 years for their students to graduate with NCE without a special university for them to go further. I think this Senate need to consider this, that for 51 years people are graduating and they cannot go further. There's no special school for them to go and study a degree or specialize or study masters in their field for special people. Mr. President, this call for support for this bill and for us to approve this bill for second reading. Thank you.
Distinguished Deputy Senate President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
How many seconds?
Thank you, Mr. President, but also bring North. Mr. President, I stand to support this bill in its entirety and also to commend the sponsor of this bill, who is Senator Akintunde Yunus Abiodun. This school, as said by the speakers before me, as depicted in the lead debate, is an old school. And now, intendment of this bill is that it should be upgraded to a university. Mr. President, we have this kind of university almost all the advanced countries of this world. But we don't have any here in Nigeria. None. And its importance cannot be overemphasized, because we have so many disabled persons in this country. We have the deaf, we have the blind, and so on and so forth. And there's a need that our education system should be all inclusive. It should be all inclusive, including everyone, every Nigerian. There should be discrimination. Then, what do we need to do? We need to make adequate preparation to produce teachers who will teach the disabled students. And how do you get to do that? It's through this kind of institution. It's not for the disabled alone, it's for everybody. That is the misconception. It's for everyone. Anyone who wants to take teaching the disabled in school as a profession. Anyone can go there, an able person can go there, learn how to do sign writing, sign language, or whatever you call it, right? On how to do all these things. Then that person will go on to teach in schools, you don't have to teach disabled. And Senator Ume stressed a point that we should not have a school that will only be composed of disabled persons. Yeah, that's the system all over the world as we speak. The disabled are encouraged to go to schools that they can interact with other able people so that there won't be discrimination. But that is not the case here. The case here is to teach those who teach the disabled, is to train those who will teach the disabled. And it's quite very important. We don't have any university for that purpose in this country. If you go to US, you have several universities of this nature, and they had it about 200 years ago. And now we are talking about having one here. Well, it's better we have it now than not having it at all. So, Senator Yunus, I commend you for this initiative, and it's something that needs to be supported by all and sundry. It should be supported because education is the bedrock of every society. And, well, those you call disabled should be taken care of. And that's what this bill stands for. I urge all of you to please support this bill because of its importance. Thank you, Mr. President.
Let's give 30 seconds to the others. Since you have taken 1 minute, 30 seconds to leader. Olare, Ziwish. And then after that, Senator Mongunu, after that, Senator Abdul Fatai, after that, Senator Shumole, then we close. Oh, Senator. Oh, okay. Then maybe I should ask the question. Is there anybody that is opposed to the bill? If there's nobody opposed to the bill, Senator Olare, are you opposed to it?
No, there's a clarification that need to be made.
But are you opposed to the bill?
I'm not opposed, sir.
Also, take just a few seconds and clarify.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues. My name is Kabaruddin Olaleloye, I represent Osun West. So I want to just appreciate the mover of this very important bill and to clarify one issue. Federal College of Education Special Oyo is not meant for people with disability alone. It's an institution to train teachers in specialized areas. I've been there, and there's a department in the University of Ibadan, Faculty of Education, for teachers in special education. They're what we call special education. They are going to train teachers who are skilled in this specialized area of teaching people with disabilities. So it's not a place where you say they are for people with disabilities. No, they want to have knowledge of how to teach people with special needs in various schools. So it's a very necessary institution that we need at this material time. So I'm supporting it wholeheartedly.
Okay,
thank you,
so
Mr. President.
Thank you for the explanation. In view of the fact that Senator Abdullah Abdul Fattah, there is really no need to make any contribution if you are supporting it. Because if we make contribution, we are only delaying the bill. So let's not delay this bill from moving forward. Those in support that the bill be now read a second time, say aye. Those again say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Education, Special, Oyo State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, and for other related matters, 2024. Second reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Education, Special, Oyo State, and to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration, and for other related matters, 2024. Second reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Education, Special, in Oyo State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, and for other related matters, 2024. Second reading taken. This bill is now referred to the Committee on Tertiary Education Institutions and Third Fund to report back to the Senate within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate. I thank the Senator Yunusa for bringing this and seeing it through to this level. Yes, I've noted the mood of the Senate. But let us take this last item. Yes. Yes, it will depend on how many people are ready to contribute. So, leader of the Senate, please proceed.
Yeah, Your Excellency, the Senate President, the beauty of it is that this fourth order is almost the same thing, and I'm very sure we'll be equally sympathetic to it. The fourth order of the day is the second reading of Federal College of Education, Special, Karaye, Established Bill 2024, SB 187. The distinguished senator will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Wednesday, 18th October 2023. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Abdulrahman Kawu Suleiman to move a motion for the bill to be read a second time.
Dismissed Senator Abdurrahman Kawu.
Mr. President, my dear honorable and distinguished colleagues, I am Suleiman Abdurrahman Kawu Sumaila, OFR, representing Kano South Senatorial District from Kano. Mr. President, I am hereby present a bill to this Hello Chamber on the need to establish a Federal College of Education special in RIA local government Kano State. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on this very important bill before us today. The bill calls for establishment of Federal College of Education special RIA to fulfill the aspiration of thousands of persons living with disability from within and outside the state who desire to become professional teachers and yearn to enjoy access to higher standard of academic instruction from federal institution of higher learning under the umbrella of National Commission for Colleges of Education. Mr. President, this bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 18th October 2023. And we can refresh our memory, or if I can take lead from my distinguished brother, Senator Yunus, for almost 51 years, it is only one college of education special, Federal College of Education special in Nigeria. Not in Nigeria alone, in the entire West African nations, which is located at Oyo State. Therefore, for a country to achieve meaningful development, the socio-economic and political system must be enhanced. Education is a sure means of developing individual potential. Little wonder, therefore, that the National Policy of Education 1983 postulates the education is the greatest investment that the nation can make for quick development of its economic, political, sociological, and human resources. Among the various educational institutions throughout which the nation hopes to achieve its development goal, specialized college of education should take preeminence because they are set up to train the trainers as it concerns persons with a special disability, more especially in this part of Nigeria. The existence of a sound and robust educational system in any country is predicated on the availability of specialized, qualified, and well-trained teachers to impart the required knowledge on students. Thus, the need to have a strong system in our educational sector that shall continuously produce well-qualified and trained teachers as it is obtainable in other developed countries cannot be overemphasized. The objective of this college, among others, shall be provide full-time courses in teaching, instruction, and training of persons with special needs, and it develops other fields of applied learning relevant to the needs of the development of Nigeria in the area of industrial and agricultural production and distribution, for research in the development and adaptation of technique as the council may from time to time determine. Conduct courses in education for qualified teachers for people with special needs in Nigeria. Arrange conferences, seminars, workshop, training of entrepreneurial education and artisan was relevant to the field of learning specified in paragraph A of this section. And finally, it performs such other function as in the opinion of the council may serve to promote the objective of the college. Mr. President, my dear highly respected colleague, the enactment of this bill will help not only in transforming the decayed educational infrastructure in Nigeria and the exclusion. It is my prayer that call on you to consider the plight of people with special needs to become professional teachers in Nigeria. Line with Order 76, 3 of the Senate Standing Order 2023 as amended, a compendium of financial implication of the establishment of the college is hereby attached. And I hereby pleading with this chamber and my distinguished colleague to support this bill to go for second reading. And the Senate and of course the leadership made our case easier by approving the first bill which came before me of the Federal University Special of Oyo, because definitely if we achieve in establishing that Oyo Special University, there was no college of education in Nigeria which will train the special needs and intermediate teachers. I so submit the uncommon president, Mr. President.
Yes,
Thank you,
Senator Akawu.
Thank you.
That first bill was Oyo, not Uyo, because I'm still coming with one for you. Thank you. This is Senator Bangudu.
Distinguished President of the Senate, distinguished senators, my name is Mohammed Tahir Mongono. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Well, I am looking at it, one, from the constitutional point of view, against the background of the fact that our constitution, which is the grand norm of the land, frowns at any form of discrimination, whether with regard to religion, creed, color, all forms of discrimination. Our constitution frowns at it. And as members of the legislature, we have sworn to jealously guard and protect the provisions of the constitution, which is the grand norm of the land. By passing this bill, we are merely reinforcing the provision of the constitution which frowns at any form of discrimination. So as such, there is need to support the second reading of this bill so that people with disability will also have the level playing field of having a specialized college of education whereby it will cater for their needs, especially against the background of the fact that we have a lot of people with disability in our midst. So, Mr. President, distinguished senators, this bill is in pari materia with the bill that we have earlier passed. So I'm inviting my colleagues to pass this one equally with the speed of light.
Thank you. As immediately you mentioned in pari materia, I knew that you have confused us. So we are going to do the same. This one is for college of education. Why the special? Why the one we did was university special, and they are almost like you said in pari materia. And, mutatis mutandis. Distinguished Senator Garba, you have anything to explain before the Deputy Senate President closes it?
Thank you very much, the Senate President. My distinguished colleagues, my name is Garba Musa Maidoki. First and foremost, uh, in my capacity as a Northwest Senator, I want to support this motion because this bill is situated in the northwest part of the country. As we all know, the northwest part of the country, we want to catch up with the south, like educationally. So, and this will go a long way on giving people with disability the right environment to get the required education to compete. Most of the institutions today in Nigeria, they are even the government public office. We pass laws here that ensures that people with disability have special access, special things so that they can access government service. But as you are aware, it's still very at the primitive stage. We will continue to do the best we can so that those with disability can access, just like some of us that God has blessed with abilities. I therefore support this motion. It is timely, it is apt, and I hope they create the indulgence of all my colleagues to support this motion with the speed of light, just like the chief whip of the Senate before we are whip, so that I can also support the chief whip of the Senate on this bill. Thank you, sir.
Yes, but you said like South. South is also disadvantaged.
I know you will respond, Your Excellency. I'm joking, sir. I withdraw that statement.
Okay. The withdrawal of that statement is noted. Okay. So, the DSP.
Thank you, Mr. President Barrow Jibril North. Mr. President, first of all, let me commend my brother for initiating this bill. And the idea to establish this institution in Karai, in the northwestern part of this country, is a necessity. It's a necessity, Mr. President. When you move around, when you start from Kaduna to Kasana to Kano, everywhere you go, you find blind people, dead people begging on the streets, not educated, uneducated. We have the highest number of people in the northwest zone in this country, and so the highest number of disabled persons. But yet, no school to teach those who are to teach them. I think that's the reason why you find them roaming the streets. That's why they are always everywhere, even moving around the country begging, because they don't have the wherewithal, they don't have the opportunity to learn from a formal institution. Why? Because no teachers. No teachers. So this school is sine qua non to really find the lasting solution to help educate this disabled person you see begging on the streets. It's very, very clear. So, Mr. President, without much ado, because there's no need for debate, because it's a necessity. When something is a necessity, you don't debate, you don't. I mean, because I know colleagues here are men and women of wisdom. Men and women of wisdom in the highest assembly in this country, people who care for the well being of Nigerians. And so I know they all support this bill. So, Mr. President, without much ado, let's move on with, like you said, what was said by in pari materia. with the other one, even though that one is Federal University of Education, special, but this one is college. We are not asking for too much.
What of mutatis?
Mutatis. We are not asking for too much, just Federal College of Education, so that we can teach these young men and women, roaming the street, blind people roaming the street in the northwestern part of the country without means of being educated, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, I
thank you.
thank Mr. President of this country because he has just approved the upgrading of Federal College of Education Kano to Federal University of Education Kano. And I know the moment this bill is brought to his table, he's going to sign it because he loves education. He loves it he loves education. So, Mr. President, I so submit. Thank you.
Thank you. Distinguished Senator Nengi, you agree with me that on a yearly basis, thousands of Nigerian school leavers do not have placement in universities. So any higher institution we can establish that can accommodate them will be welcome. So you have any information on this?
President, my name is Senator Abdul Ningi, and I represent Bauchi Central, Bauchi State. Before I add the information alluded to by the President, let me most sincerely thank my younger brother, Senator Kawu, a proprietor of a private university himself. And looking at the last 6-7 months, the bills that he brought before the Senate is actually on educational institutions, educational development. And alluded to your assertion, sir. It is important not to look at the creation of a university or college of education or whatever education institution as an albatross. Going forward, the only way, the only means, the only possibilities that made a difference between first world countries and third world countries are, of course, education. If you look at the United States, Japan, Australia, UK, Netherlands, one of the most important ingredients of why they are where they are is education. It is not their oil, it is not their agri, it's brain power. And we have been opportune by God to have some of the best brains, Mr. President, not only on African continent, but across the world. God has endured Nigerians with brains wherever we found ourselves. And therefore, it will be tragic if we don't grab that opportunity. Yes, in the time past, we have not been able to grab that opportunity, but we are moving forward. We are making progress. And as a student of history, you now reflect what happened in the past and try to create hope for the future. And I'm sure some of these things are what we needed. And I think we must commend you for providing us with some opportunities for Nigerians to hear us and hear us clearly. There is nothing like a party difference when it comes to issues of development. We must all wrap it aside. Whatever that will bring development, whatever that will bring improvement to the average life of Nigerians, we must be unison, we must be collective, we must come together in supporting it. And I'm sure almost everybody here supports this bill, just that every other part-time, when there is an issue of education, almost everything on this floor so far has been unanimous. And I commend you for providing that kind of leadership. I so support this bill.
Thank you so much. And like I said, once you enter the hallowed chambers of the Senate, your political party is outside. You are a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and therefore national interest must take precedence over party affiliation. Distinguished Senator Nedwoko, if you don't hear your voice, when you bring your own bill, they won't, they won't support. So from South Nigeria, are you in tune with this?
I am indeed, Mr. President. My name is Nedwoko. I represent Delta North, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to lend my support for the bill, for the creation, for the establishment of Federal College of Education, Karaye, special education. Mr. President, as you said rightly, anything to do with education must get the support of everybody and every senator in this chamber. There's no doubt about it. This is a very timely bill, and I wholeheartedly support it. Just like others who have spoken before me, I don't think there's anybody here that will say anything negative about a bill of this nature. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. This Senator Ekong Samson, are you also in support? Your South must support because your turn will come. Yeah, check your mic. Your mic.
Ekong Samson on the floor. I speak respectfully for Akwa Ibom South. I think mine is more of a commendation for the Senate presidents and indeed all of us at plenary. We've established a trajectory in this Senate in the promotion of education. I think more than before, there has been a drift towards education, and this is very commendable. I think history will be very positive that this 10th Senate has charted a frontier in the promotion of education in the sprouts of these schools, and it is just as well, because if there's one endeavor that can create a watershed and sustain it, is our attitude to the promotion of knowledge. So mine is, as I said earlier, that of commendation, because it has never been as, the space has never been as rich. Virtually daily, one sees a tendency that is truly uncommon, very uncommon. So I think one would be on safe ground if one commends the Senate President and indeed all our colleagues who have shown clearly a drift that will help us to broaden access to education. What we need in Nigeria is access to opportunity. We've suffered extensively through opportunity theft. By expanding, by broadening access to education, the 10th Senate has set clear standards that will endure for all time. So I support this bill, but well beyond that, I salute that drift, that consciousness that encourages us as a collective to encourage access to education. Thank you.
Thank you. And of course, we also must salute the president, because each time we pass a bill of this nature, he will assent into an act of parliament. Reason being that he's also a lover of education. Some people think that education is costly, and others say try literacy. Then you will now compare which one is more costly. So the civil senator Adam Oshimole, which one is more costly, education or illiteracy?
No, Mr. President, sir, I wanted to just draw your attention that people who are vertically challenged, and here I speak for Lalong, I speak for quite a number of senators who are vertically challenged, that we lend our support to Kau, who seems even at private capacity, I understand he owns a university. In the national item, which you have encouraged us to rehearse every day, the second stanza says to build a nation in which no one shall be oppressed. And I think we'll be seen to be living to the provisions of the national item when we devote the kind of time we've devoted and the resources that we, of course, be appropriated, giving life to those lofty provisions in the Nigeria Constitution and as very well captured in their national item. There is ability in disability. And unfortunately, we do more talking on it than action. But like my in-law said from Akwa Ibom, I can see he looked very well fed because he married from my state.
Under your leadership, let it be on record that this Senate, if it wasn't known for any other thing, when it comes to skill acquisition, opportunity for training and retraining, education, skill building, because of the time we emphasize the quantity. Nigeria is over 200 billion, 250 billion, sorry, million people. What is not often captured is of this number, how many are skilled and how many more can we scale? And how can we rescale them? From experiences in other jurisdictions, as we saw recently, sir, in the Olympic, where the quote able-bodied people failed even to get a bronze, Nigeria went on the world map through the Paralympic group. They are the one who won a medal. It shows what is possible when a country devotes special attention to people who require special care, not because they are inferior, but because they have physical challenges which does not affect their mental capacity. So I'm quite surprised that Kao can remember people like this because he is not a comrade. But may God bless you for remembering the masses. You should be the true follower of Aminu Kano, which you are not at the moment. So, Mr. President, thank you. History will record you right that when you are counting the number of laws, the number of institutions, etc., I believe under your leadership, more educational institutions were approved by this Senate. And like you said, prayerfully, Mr. President will accept to them. Thank you, Mr. President, for this privilege.
Thank you. Let's end it with Southeast. Is Senator Webwe?
Thank you, Your Excellency. I remain Senator Onyekachi Nwebonyi with the golden crown of a Boyno senatorial zone. Your Excellency, I rise to lend my voice in support of this all-important bill. And in doing that, I must commend the sponsor of this bill for looking down well, because there is a saying that it is the eye that look down well that can see the nose. You agree with me, Your Excellency, distinguished colleagues, that people with disability have been agitating all over the world, including Nigeria, for better treatment, which access to quality education is one of them. And I believe that by establishing this institution, some of the agitations will be addressed. So I so support this bill, and I urge all and sundry to support same. Thank you, sir.
Distinguished Senator Kao, in the construction, in the facilities to be provided, or even those that are already there, they must be remodeled to take cognizance of people with disabilities. Yes, because if you don't, and then you just do a normal university facility, you will not have taken genuine concern for their plight. And I must thank distinguished Senator Adam Oshomole for reminding us that even in the recent Olympics, the people that brought gold and honor to the country were people with disabilities. They've consistently made us proud in every international forum and every international outing. And then they will do more as we continue to provide facilities like this for their educational obligations. So I thank all of you for your contributions. And I now put the question. Those in support that this bill be now read the second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal College of Education Special, CARE, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, and for other related matters, 2024. Second reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal College of Education Special, CARE, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, and for other related matters, 2024. Second reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal College of Education Special, CARE, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, and for other related matters, 2024. Second reading taken and now referred to the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and therefore to report back to this Chamber in 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Excellency, the Senate Leader, distinguished senators, having concluded today's proceeding on other paper, I hereby move that the Senate to adjourn till Thursday, 17th October 2024 at 11 a.m.
The minority leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that this Senate be adjourned till Thursday, 17th of October at 11 a.m. So second.
Just before I put the question, the proposed Senate delegation to the burial of distinguished Senator Jonathan Swigina earlier announced, just to remind you that the events actually start from today. So look at the program ahead by this weekend. The leader of that delegation remains distinguished Senator Abba Patrick Borough for the burial of Senator Swigina. Senator Babangida Hussein from Northwest, Senator Reverend Amos Lehana from Northeast, Senator Sharif Adin Ali, Senator Sharif Adin Ali from Southwest, the same Senator Ned Moko from South, the same Senator Patrick Ndugwezi from Southeast, and the same Senator Binus Yaro from North Central. Northeast, that's Adamawa, am I right? Northeast, Adamawa. So you are part of that delegation. Please, you have to represent the Senate in all the ceremonies leading to the final rites of burial of our distinguished Senator Swigina. Distinguished colleagues, on a sad note, we further announce that the burial committee of our late colleague, Senator Dr. Patrick Ifeanyi, CON, has announced the funeral arrangements as follows. The night of tribute will be on Thursday, November 14th, 2024. This will take place at Harbour Point in Victoria Island, Lagos, at 4 p.m. That will be on Thursday, the 14th day of November, at Harbour Point, 4 p.m. Commendation service will take place on Friday, November 15th, 2024. Friday, November 15th, 2024. At Church of Assumption, Falomo, Ikoyi, time 10 a.m. For the ceremonies in the Federal Capital Territory, Night of Tributes will be on Monday, November 18th, 2024. This will take place at NAF Conference Center and Suite, about 496 Amado Bello Way, Abuja. The night of tribute in Abuja on the 18th will commence at 5 p.m. Then, of course, on Tuesday, November 11th, November 19th, rather, we will be taking valedictory session at the Senate chambers. And this will start by 11 a.m. At Nnewi, his country home, we'll have Christian word-keeping and service of songs. That will be on Thursday, 21st day of November 2024. That will happen at Dr. Ifeanyi's Palatial home in Umuahia. That's at Levi at 4 p.m. The final funeral mass for the late icon will happen on Friday, November 22nd. That will be at his country home equally. And then the funeral activities and condolences will continue after the funeral activities. Most especially the 9 Religious Court. Saturday, November the 23rd will be the day for a mass condolence activities by different cultural groups that he belongs, those who are sympathetic. Finally, there will be a Thanksgiving Mass and Thanksgiving outing for him on Sunday, November 24th, 2024. That will happen at St. Peter Clever Catholic Church, Otolo in Newe will attend there. You want to correct?
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't know when they sent that letter in, but I'm aware because I'm involved that the funeral mass, the 22nd of November, will be at St. Peter Clever Catholic Church, not his home. Initially, they said his house, but the church did not accept that.
But the church has amended it.
Yes, so it is now 22nd at St. Peter Clever Catholic Church. That's where the funeral mass will take place, and it's agreed.
We just for the purpose of clarity.
Yes.
You can just send out a one-page announcement and circulate it to all our colleagues, that they have the date in mind.
Okay.
You know which one they will be able to attend. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's important you do as you said because it's already on our platform. But you are really nice on our platform already.
Okay, so you have to correct it.
Correct it.
Correct it on the platform. Tell the administrator to correct it.
I will.
You know, people will be thinking it is going to be at home, not knowing it as they move to Jigawa Catholic Church.
Yes.
On that 22nd.
That's probably the bishop.
That's very important. Okay. Once again, by his gentle soul rest in eternal peace.
Amen.
Well, in view of the need to carry on with his activities in the Senate, and we have already nominated Civil Senator Ismail Akawu to take over the ad hoc committee on the turnaround maintenance of the pipeline. And accordingly, we also nominate you to also handle this committee on petroleum downstream. So rest in our peace. Distinguished colleagues, those who are in support of the motion that this Senate stands adjourned to the 17th day of October, Thursday, at 11 a.m. Say aye. Those against say nay. The Senate is therefore hereby adjourned.